She's a great player. She's a high IQ player. She adjusted really quickly to this league. Unbelievably quick to this league. And now it's about becoming not just a great player, but becoming a great leader for this team so that we can win not just a championship, but championships. And what does that look like? The gloves are off and Stephanie White isn't holding back. She's about to expose every single lie Sheryl Swoopes has been spreading about the Indiana Fever. And trust me, it's going to be huge. Swoopes is at it again, saying this in her latest podcast episode. Personally, here's where I think they didn't do a very good job. And that was with Kelsey Mitchell, who's an unrestricted free agent, because Kelsey Mitchell had a hell of a season this season. And I don't think she got the credit that she deserved. From Kelsey Mitchell's importance to the team to Caitlin Clark's instant impact, White's setting the record straight. But that's not all. She's also giving us an inside look at the Fever's locker room that'll make you question and laugh at everything Swoopes has been saying. They're all hungry to grow and hungry to improve and hungry to be coached and hungry to win. And when you have 3 foundational players and your big 3 that have that mindset, have that mentality, and great things can happen. Let's rewind to the early part of this year. Sheryl Swoopes dropped her Legends perspective on Gil's Arena that had basketball fans puzzled. She claimed Caitlin Clark was in her 5th year at Iowa when Clark was actually in her 4th season. This was the season Clark was making history with her NCAA scoring record. So are you surprised by Caitlin Clark and the Fever's improvement since the Olympic break? 20 points, 8.46, 6 rebounds. That's crazy. That's crazy. Those are a hell of a number, but to me that's not dominating. Swoopes also predicted Clark's game wouldn't translate to the WNBA. But when Clark stepped onto the court for her rookie season with the Indiana Fever, she proved Swoopes wrong. Clark's freshman stats were impressive. 19.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, and a leading 8.4 assists per game. She won Rookie of the Year and made the All-WNBA first team. And she's hungry to grow and hungry to get better. And so, number 1, again, that two-way communication. That's been a long time since I've played. So players that are on the floor, they know, right? Like, they get a sense, they get a feel of what's working, what's not. My first conversation with her about X's and O's the other day, I was just like, okay, well, how do you want to improve? Like, what are some of the things that you want to improve on? And then we'll talk about how we want to do that. And then I talked to her about how I think we can use her to help her be more efficient, help her be more effective, to help our team be better in general. Stephanie White, the Fever's head coach, praised Clark's immediate adjustment and impact. White saw what Swoopes couldn't. Clark was elevating her teammates and leading the Fever to their first playoff berth since 2016. I've never seen in the NBA a player that can throw the ball ahead on the break better than her. Or him, anyone. I had Isaiah. I had Hall of Fame point guard. Never anyone better than her. I also think that like a lot of my great point guards, Hall of Famers, she could play off the so well. Because she knows how to move without the ball, and it wouldn't tire her out. As Clark's success became undeniable, Swoopes changed her tune. She shifted away from her initial claims about Clark's game not translating to the WNBA. Instead, she began focusing on other aspects of Clark's career and performance. This wasn't a one-time slip-up for Swoopes. It was part of a pattern of making bold claims without the facts to back them up. From Clark's college career to her WNBA potential, Swoopes' predictions kept missing the mark. But Swoopes wasn't finished. She had a new target in her sights, the entire Fever organization. Swoopes was about to make more controversial statements. That players are like, this ain't where I want to be. Over there. Yeah. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't want to be here. Imagine a locker room filled with laughter, support, and impromptu team outings. That's the reality of the Indiana Fever, despite Sheryl Swoopes' claims to the contrary. Swoopes painted a picture of a team in turmoil, suggesting players were desperate to escape because of Caitlin Clark. But was she even talking about the right team? Maybe she was referring to the sky? According to league sources, Wetspoon had lost the locker room because of a culture that catered to the needs of a few players. Dear Lord, the Aces? You know, what is going on in their locker room? Like, this Aces team is falling apart. This is not a coach that I would want to play for. Stephanie White, the Fever's head coach, didn't mince words when addressing team culture. She praised the chemistry, work ethic, and Clark's positive impact on the group. It's a far cry from the divided locker room Swoopes try to sell that I don't think that any one of us can really probably understand, what she goes through on a daily basis. She carries a heavy load, right, with our league and with her abilities. Certainly. But where we are from this tipping point in the WNBA and from popularity, when you talk to the Fever players, a very different story emerges. Lexi Hull and Erica Wheeler both highlight how Clark's presence has boosted team morale. She's all like, she'll just throw out comments that are just funny. Hull counts on Clark for confidence and positivity, while Wheeler describes how Clark's humor often lightens tense moments during games. All we do is have fun with Caitlin Clark, who never takes anything serious. Like I tell people all the time, she's really a kid at heart. That's not creating drama. That's building a team. From management to players, the message is consistent. This team is united. The Indiana Fever's locker room isn't a powder keg waiting to explode. It's a place of growth, support, and a whole lot of laughter. Every piece of evidence points to a team that's thriving together. But Swoopes wasn't done yet. She set her sights on someone new. Someone who'd been with the Fever through thick and thin. Kelsey Mitchell was about to find herself in Swoopes' crosshairs. And the claims? They were about to get even wilder. Because Kelsey Mitchell had a hell of a season. This season. And I don't think she got the credit that she deserved. Kelsey Mitchell's breakout season was nothing short of spectacular. She averaged 19.2 points per game, shot 40% from three-point range, and led the Indiana Fever to their first playoff appearance in 7 years. These numbers tell a story of a player at the top of her game. But Sheryl Swoopes had a different take. She claimed the Fever didn't give Mitchell the credit she deserved. Is there any truth to this bold statement? Let's look at the facts. Mitchell wasn't just good. She was on fire. Her field goal percentage of 46.8% was the best of her career. But it wasn't all about personal stats. Mitchell played a crucial role in the Fever's success, ending their playoff drought. That's the kind of performance that turns heads. It's really exciting. I mean, certainly, you think about Kelsey Mitchell, and she's been through the lulls in the Indiana Fever franchise. And now to be on the other side of that, as a cornerstone. And every team has a big three, right? And you think about having a great thing like her, and a great point guard, and a generational player in Caitlin Clark, and a great post player in Aaliyah Boston. So, did the Fever, if you liked the video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Really overlook Mitchell's contributions? Not according to team president Kelly Kraskoff, who called Mitchell a cornerstone of a team. That's a clear message. Mitchell is key to the Fever's future. We wouldn't be where we are today without Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, she's clearly a very foundational piece. She's got 7 years of being in and out of this building. She went through a lot. What about on the court? Did playing alongside rookie sensation Caitlin Clark overshadow Mitchell's brilliance? Quite the opposite. Analysts pointed out that Clark's league-leading assists actually boosted Mitchell's scoring opportunities. It was a case of two players elevating each other's game. Mitchell herself seemed far from feeling underappreciated. She expressed deep gratitude towards the Fever organization and her teammates. This wasn't a player feeling neglected. This was an athlete who felt supported and valued. I've always kind of flew under the radar. I've always kind of been that person or that player, very conservative, very introvert. So now I get to see the flip side of it. It's kind of funny. I can laugh about it because I know it's come from a genuine place, but I embrace it from a standpoint of people not, guaranteed to see me play. And now that they do, I just hope I do right by it, So, what are we left with? A star player hitting her stride, a team recognizing her worth, and a narrative from Swoopes that just doesn't match reality. It's a reminder that sometimes the most dramatic stories are the ones that exist only in speculation. But Swoopes wasn't done yet. Just when you thought she'd exhausted her list of grievances, she turned her attention to another figure in the Fever organization. The departure of Christy Sides was about to become the next chapter in Swoopes' ongoing saga. And trust me, you won't believe what she had to say about it. If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. We know watching this video takes some of your time, and we appreciate you. Now back to the action. I think Christy did as good of a job as she could have, managing all of the craziness, all of the Caitlin mania, all of the hype, all of the media. It was just so much that came with that. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but it's not lost on me that the day after Christy Sides is let go is the day that Stephanie White stepped down from coaching in Connecticut. Christy Sides led the Fever to their first playoff berth in 7 years, suddenly found herself out of a job. Sheryl Swoopes had a theory suggesting Sides was overwhelmed by the Caitlyn mania and deserve more respect. But the Fever's official statements tell a different story. Kelly Krauskopf, the team's president, praised Sides for her tremendous dedication during her time as head coach. This doesn't sound like a team throwing someone under the bus, does it? I can't say anything bad about the job that Christy Sides and her staff did. I mean, she did everything she was hired to do, and then some, through a tough first year of Caitlyn and all the attention and everything that went with that. I give them a lot of credit. So what really happened? Krauskopf made it clear, it is imperative that we remain bold and assertive in the pursuit of our goals, which includes maximizing our talent and bringing another WNBA championship back to Indiana. Every piece of evidence points to a professional, strategic decision. The Fever didn't just cut ties and move on. They publicly acknowledged Sides' contributions and emphasized how she worked hard to steer the team during a crucial phase. Christy Sides did a great job. And as we move forward, my thought process was, how do we maximize what we have and how do we jump on this opportunity now? It wasn't about punishing failure, but positioning the team for even greater success in the future. Enter Stephanie White, Sides' replacement, with a history of success and a coaching philosophy that emphasizes communication and player development. White is seen as the perfect fit to take the Fever to the next level, trying to think outside the box, not be tunnel vision in how we do things, putting players in positions to be successful, using what we have to our advantage instead of what we don't, and really trying to reverse engineer, in some ways, the way that I think about the game and the positions that we can put our teammates and our players in to be successful. So, what's the real story behind Sides leaving? It's a team making a tough but professional decision to pursue championship dreams. But with all these claims flying around, from locker room drama to coaching controversies, you've got to wonder, how did the team really feel about all this? Well, it turns out the Fever players had a few things to say, and their perspective might just put this whole saga to rest. Just when you thought the Fever drama couldn't get any more intense, Lexi Hull stepped up to the mic. As Caitlin Clark's teammate, Hull had a front row seat to everything happening in the locker room. And let me tell you, her perspective blew Sheryl Swoopes' claims right out of the water. Hull didn't hold, and to know what happened next, you guys should subscribe to the channel. Thanks you.